If you're tired of not making progress and you're ready to be the artist you know you're meant to be, you're in the right place. You're listening to the Singer's Path podcast. The Path, or Performing Artists Training Hub, will cover everything, including singing tips that actually work, advice from top industry professionals, and life-changing mindset shifts. Out with the starving artist and in with the thriving artist. I'm your host, Sarah Bishop, professional singer, actor, educator, and entrepreneur. I'm not afraid to speak the truth and stop the gatekeeping of quality information so you can actually become the artist you dream of being. So let's get on the path, shall we? Even though we're all on our own journeys, it always helps to have a guide.
All right, so welcome Lara Chapman here on the podcast today from Vox Tape Studios.
Yeah.
Wow. So
thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Yeah, absolutely. I love connecting with other vocal professionals, other female entrepreneurs that have, their stuff going on online and that help singers and artists all over the world. So I'm just really excited to have you here today and to pick your brain about what your whole vibe is and what your message is. And you have some really exciting things coming up that I think would really serve a lot of the singers in my audience, a lot of the artists, creatives that are interested in doing their own song work, their own songwriting.
Yeah.
So that's why we're having you on today to talk about all things Lara. So the first thing I want to just ask is we're getting to know each other. We're Instagram friends, but we haven't really connected yet.
I know, right?
So this
Sad.
is a really wonderful. It's sad, but what a wonderful opportunity, to again kind of connect with colleagues, right? That's what I view a lot of these online vocalpreneurs as being just other passionate people that just are good at what they do and are able to help a lot of people. So tell us a little bit about where you're from. You were mentioning that your parents are actually in Europe. We were kind of talking about you going to visit them. That was so fascinating to me. So what's your background? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Switzerland. I'm fully Swiss. If you ever do that 23andMe, whatever heritage thing, whatever, I'm Swiss. I was born and raised in Switzerland, and I did not move to the US until after high school. So my whole family is there. I'm the only one here. I'm flying out on Monday to go see them. Very excited. My brother just had his second baby, so I get to go see little Hannah. Oh, so exciting.
Yay! Yeah. That's awesome. Okay. Congratulations, Auntie. That's amazing. And so you went to high school in Switzerland. Yeah. Did you have a pretty normal high school experience, or did you have an arts, as we're both in education, I think it's interesting to ask people that aren't born in the United States, the difference in the education system and specifically how it influenced your arts perspective.
Yeah.
What was that like? What was the focus when you were growing up in that school system?
So the education system is quite different in Switzerland. Very few people actually end up going to high school. We usually go all the way through 9th grade, and then people do some sort of apprenticeship where they go and learn a job, and then that's what they do for the next however many years. I went to high school, and everybody that goes to high school with the intention of going to college. But again, not everybody goes to college. It's not as common to go to college as it is here, at least in today's day and age, right? So high school in Switzerland is you already pick a major. You already have some sort of focus like you would in college here. And so my major was music, and my main instrument was voice. Duh. Because that's what I always wanted to do. So, I had a lot of music classes in high school already. Now, it's not as focused on your major as college is. College is then exclusively just that. So you don't have liberal arts classes in college in Switzerland like you do here if you want to get your degree. But, I had, I think 8 hours of music a week. Yeah.
Okay.
It was fun.
Cool. That's probably more, in the States, right, it's kind of general studies, at least, it depends on where you go. That's not even a one-size-fits-all thing. But, I remember in high school, I took a lot of arts classes compared to a lot of students. But I can't even remember how long our periods were. So it was I did choir and band, but there wasn't like I wasn't taking like private lessons or anything. Like, did you take private lessons for
Yes.
voice in?
But outside of
that's
school,
amazing.
though. So I started voice
Okay.
lessons when I was 13. And in Switzerland, you have your regular school, right? Where you go and learn math and stuff. Stuff that I know nothing about. And then you have music schools that are like more regional schools. So not just one town or one city, but more like a region. And so that's where I then took piano lessons and voice lessons. And in high school then, my voice lesson was covered by my high school, like the financial side of it, because I needed to take 45 or 40 minutes of my instrument, right? And I wanted to stay with my teacher that I already had from the regional music school. So they comped that, or at least the first 40 minutes. I then extended to an hour, so I only paid for 20 minutes, which was nice.
That's amazing. I mean, and again, I guess I'm asking for like the more European lens on arts education because of the value they place on it versus, I mean, I grew up at that time where they just had started cutting the budgets of music like left and right. And I remember it always being like salt in the wound too, because like the football team had just gotten like a brand new stadium with like turf and everything. And meanwhile, they're just like slashing our arts programs. And like, what message does that send on what's important to the kids? And almost to a point where like I was like, this is kind of I don't love talking about this, but I was like low key a little bit of a pageant girl. So I was kind of, well, not really. Okay. All right. I wasn't like bathing suit bikini like Miss USA. Like that wasn't, it was a scholarship program. Okay. But like actually it was more of the, kind of conservative politically at that time, but more, it really was focused on like grades and academics and, service, and it was called Junior Miss. There's actually a movie about it called Drop Dead Gorgeous. Have you ever heard of that movie?
I don't think so.
It's kind of niche. It's hilarious. But it was like really young Kirsten Dunst, and I think like Brooke Shields, like not Brooke Shields, another actor that reminds me of Brooke Shields, but it's not Brooke Shields. And it's hilarious, and it's about these young girls, and they're like going to do this pageant, and Diane Sawyer is like Kirsten Dunst's like idol, and then they go to like Junior Miss. So America's Junior Miss. It used to be publicly broadcast, and it was a big deal, and it was mostly for just high school seniors. So anyway, very tangent, like not really important to know. But I was Pennsylvania's Junior Miss, and I went to America's Junior Miss, and like my platform, because they had been cutting arts so horrifically, was called Exposure to the Arts. So even as like a teenager, I was like already stepping into that muse territory of being like, listen, like I'm an advocate for this, and this is important, and like this is my life's work.
Wow.
So it's kind of interesting. So like I always feel like the American view on it is like the artists that are here, I feel like there's this sense of like fighting to keep it, versus you guys, it's like I'm jealous personally of it just seems like it's at least held and preserved.
Yes.
Maybe it's not. Maybe that I'm just projecting that.
The interesting thing is, up until high school, I can see that. I can definitely see that. But when it comes to college opportunities to actually study music and make a career out of it, you are way better off over here than you are in Switzerland, at least. In Switzerland, there's one college program that is for contemporary music. So we have a couple jazz programs and classical voice and like classical music in general programs, but there is one in all of Switzerland for contemporary voice, and or contemporary music in general, and they take one singer, one guitarist, one drummer, one bassist, and one keyboardist a year. That's it. It's the program that I auditioned for, and I didn't get in.
Well, because there was one singer.
Exactly. No, exactly.
That's insane.
So, I was a cocky little bitch, and I was like, yeah, that's going to be me. I'm going to be the one getting that spot. And so I didn't have a backup plan. I graduated high school not knowing what I was going to do because I didn't get into that school.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, and meanwhile, like when we're auditioning for conservatories, I don't know, as I'm not as well versed on the contemporary music scene, so maybe you can share more about your experience with that in higher education. I know there's Berkeley. I've had students that have gone to Berkeley.
It's where I went then
and done
too.
that. Okay, so then yes, so then that's, I think there's also one. Isn't there one in Tennessee?
there's Belmont.
too, that has like a pretty good Belmont. Okay, cool. So we'll talk about you. I mean, you clearly know more about this than me, but I know my main focus was musical theater. So I mean, it's like psychotic. Like you have to have like 20 schools that you audition for. Like there's backup on backup on backup on backup. Like that's how, and it's so expensive. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's like it is harder than getting into an Ivy League. And I know that sounds obnoxious, but like it's true. Like it's insane. So so since you didn't get into the one school that you didn't have the backup plan for, so then did you take a gap year? Like how did you pivot into being able to study
No,
that?
so I actually then during that summer, I auditioned for a school in New York City called New York Film Academy. And I did their musical theater program there. So, I auditioned in like June and I got accepted 2 weeks later. And I started in September, I guess I moved in September and started in October. I always knew that I wanted to move to the US. Ever since I was 12 years old, I told my parents one day I will live in the US and I will have my career in the US. It was always the plan. So it just made sense that I would come over here. And so, I did their musical theater program and pretty quickly realized, musical theater is different from pop.
It's different. Oh, she different. She's crazy.
She is a little crazy. Yeah.
She's a little psycho.
I was like,
Ooh,
why
girl.
not sing, act, and dance at the same time? Sounds lovely. Like, I want to learn about all those things. I didn't realize that music was going to be so different.
So different and so hard. It has shifted a little bit, but it's also shifted in a way that, okay, I'm going to say, I speak truths that, like, I'm sorry if you don't agree, but like, this is a fact in my eyes. It's like a bastardization Frankenstein pop attempt that's still musical theater. It looks like, like it's not actual pop music. I don't give a fuck how... I don't give listen, casting directors will try to like vocally direct people to get more of a pop sound, but like, quite frankly, they do not know how to coach genuine pop and rock sound. And it really, like, literally you're gonna fucking die. This is how they coach pop rock, dude. They're like, just straight tone everything.
Okay, lovely.
No vibrato at all. And then listen, Lara, they don't even amplify you. So, if you want that breathy texture, if you want dynamics, you're in a giant fucking room. Like, you're auditioning for a pop rock show, like for 6, okay? You're in a giant fucking room with a piano that's blasting behind you, and you want to add vocal texture and nuance and dynamics.
You can't.
You fucking can't. You fucking can't. And so then all of it turns into this, like, I want you to brag like I'm in the grave. Da 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 da. Da, da. What the fuck is that? Right? And that's what I'm telling you. That's that bastardization of like, sorry, this is its own subgenre of just contemporary, not pop cringe music in my eyes. But I'm sorry, I have a very strong opinion about that. But
you
like,
go, girl.
what was your opinion then? Hey, listen, I know, and if I offended you, I'm sorry. But like, listen, it's not honest to God pop rock. It comes from a different place. And also the fact that it's pop/rock, as if those aren't two completely different worlds is anyway. So I projected a lot of what I know musical theater pop to be, but like, what was your experience as an honest to God, like, contemporary singer entering that world? Like, what was that like
I mean,
for you?
this was 10 years ago, 11 years ago. Oh my gosh, I'm getting old. Okay, this was 11 years ago. And already then everything was getting more pop. And now it's like even more. Like, it's Frankenstein pop in my
exactly.
Eyes,
Yes.
No, 100%. And yet, even though I was the pop girly, everybody was like my professors were like, why are you here? You do not belong here. You are not a musical theater singer. You need to go do your pop thing. Like, you need to go be a pop star. And I'm like, but aren't you saying that everything's turning pop rock? Then like, why am I still? So yeah, right. I was too pop as a pop singer. And yet everybody's like, we're making this pop. I was like, what?
WTF?
Doesn't make
That's what I'm
sense.
saying. Like, they didn't want, like, but then I bet if you went into an audition for Six now, like, do you ever audition anymore? Like, would you audition with like Heart of Stone or something? Because I
Absolutely
feel
not.
like if you walked in, I know, but I feel like if you walked in though and you genuinely were pop at this point, maybe 10 years later, they might be like, oh, she's fucking.
Maybe,
Like,
but see,
maybe.
I'm at the point where I was like, I did 2 years of musical theater where I was like, I don't belong here, I don't belong here, I don't belong here, I don't like this, I don't like this. I learned a lot, don't get me wrong, but it just was not right for me. And I had to go like watch all these musicals and do all these things. And I just hated it so much because it just wasn't for me, right? I knew I don't belong here. Learned a lot. I don't regret it, but I knew it wasn't for me. And so, I'm like, now you have to pay me to go watch a musical, unless one of my friends is in a musical, and then I will go see it. But no. It's not for me. It's not for me. But that doesn't mean that musical theater isn't cool. Like, it is cool, and I loved it before I studied it. But then it just wasn't.
Girl,
wasn't
I get
for me.
it. That's okay. Again, she's a little crazy. She's a little crazy, and it's just a different world. And honestly, even studying, I like went to one of the top conservatories for musical theater. And even there, I was like, I don't even feel like I fit in here. Cause it was so psychotically focused on like, I'm a musical theater girl. And I'm like, I can play this part, but like I don't actually know any of these musicals. I don't know any of these composers.
Okay, hold on, girl. Hold on. Okay, so when I learned that I got into that musical theater school, I made a list of all musicals.
I did that too, and I researched them.
The list was this long. It was like 30 musicals. I was like, yeah, that's all musicals. I had no fucking clue. I had no clue. Absolutely no clue. It's embarrassing. It's really embarrassing. Because like that just shows you I really did not do my research before I got into it. Like I was just like, singing, acting, dancing at the same time. Lovely. Let's do it. I had no clue. It's bad.
Well, I think I mean, to make you feel bad, I was the same. Like I was like, I'm good at this. Luckily, my voice did fit into that genre. But like that's, I think, what kept me in it the most. And I did love acting, and I had been a dancer, so there were skills that I had been nurturing for a while, and my instrument fits exceptionally well in classic musical theater. But my whole thing has been like, oh, I was fucking bookable as hell from 90s to 2015. But then that pop shift fucked me, because then my sound that had been actively sought after shifted. And so then I feel like I'm in an industry that I didn't even fucking sign up to be in, right? It shifted so violently in one direction. And like, so I kind of have the opposite experience of being like, okay, no, I want to be in this world, but like, I feel like I'm now Frankensteining my sound to fit this thing that doesn't feel authentic, right? So anyway, musical theater, it is a flawed place to be. But it sounds like you really did eventually find your way with the contemporary music. Yeah. So talk about your transition then to studying that. And then also I'm like very interested in the focus. I mean, I now teach contemporary singing. I'm an IVA teacher, right? So that's it was speech language focused, and it works very well for contemporary music. I specialize in taking classical people specifically and musical theater people and bringing them to more of that sound. But I'm curious about your training as a contemporary singer to start with, right? And how that kind of carried through in your next steps here.
Yeah, so going back, like I told you, I started voice lessons at 13, and I studied with a classically trained singer who was solely performing classical music, but she taught me contemporary vocals because that's what I wanted to do. And, she had like the occasional workshop under her belt, and I loved my teacher, my very first teacher that I had when I was in Switzerland. She was fantastic. And now looking back, I'm like, I probably could have benefited from working with someone who was actually a contemporary singer. Loved her, learned so much from her, wouldn't change it for the world. But one of the reasons why I didn't get into that school in Switzerland that I was telling you about, they asked me, who is your voice teacher? And I told them this person, they're like, never heard of her. What is she like? And I was like, well, she's classically trained. Like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. You don't sound pop rock enough. or like pop enough.
So you're being told by the contemporary school that you don't sound enough like pop rock, and then you're being told by the musical theater world that you sound too much like pop rock. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
How did you shift out of that? Because that's hard.
It is. And at the end of the day, you have to realize this is one person's opinion or like one group of people's opinion and not everybody else's opinion. And honestly, I was at that point still just a very cocky little bitch. And I just could not care about what people said. I was like, no, I know I'm good and I know I can do this. And
listen, I like that delusional confidence,
Thank you.
especially if you have talent. You clearly have talent. If you're delusionally confident and you don't have talent, then maybe we need to look at something. But like, okay, cocky little bitch, yes, and you also need some of that, right, to make it. You do.
You do. So yeah, I live in Delulu world, still do, and you know what? I'm fine with it because I'm happy with my life. So whatever. But
yeah, exactly.
So then going to Berkeley, right? I finished my 2-year musical theater program, and then because I'm a Swiss citizen, I was like, all right, cool. How do I get to stay here? Because my visa is up. So I decided to go to Berkeley. Well, actually, I initially wanted to go to MI, the Musicians Institute out in Los Angeles, because I wanted to be in LA, because I wanted to be a pop star in LA, right? And unfortunately, or fortunately, unfortunately for my mindset at the time, I also got into Berkeley, and then everybody was like, you have to go to Berkeley. It's Berkeley, right? I was like, ugh, whatever. All right. So I went to Berkeley. I did 3 semesters at Berkeley. I had a great time, but also I'm like, why am I in Boston? Like, I don't want to be in Boston. It felt like a downgrade after New York, you know? It was like, oh, New York is the best city in the world. Love it. And now I'm in Boston. Why am I here? I want to be in LA or New York making music. So anyways, I did 3 semesters there, and then I actually got signed with a manager down in Nashville. So I packed up my stuff and moved down there, and that's when I still finished my degree online. My parents were like, you have to have a degree. Now, I was always very lucky to have a super, super, super supportive set of parents. My brother is a race car driver, and I'm a musician. So,
wow.
Yeah. So, very weird kids. And my parents, everybody, like when they learn that my brother's a race car driver, they're like, what do your parents do? I'm like, well, my dad's in sales and my mom's a kindergarten teacher. So, very normal, right? And then there's us, the weird kids. But that just shows you, like, our parents were so supportive from day one, and they would just find a way to help us do the thing that we wanted to do. And so very, very, very grateful for that. And but my parents were like, no, you have to finish your degree. Berkeley is expensive, but we'll pay for it, and you're going to finish your freaking degree.
Yeah, you better finish it.
Exactly. So I did. I finished my degree online while I was writing and recording and performing and blah, 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 all of that stuff in Nashville.
Cool. So Nashville, did that become kind of the true first incubator of you like stepping into the songwriting container and then like kind of figuring yourself out there? So what was your kind of early steps with songwriting, because the container you're going to talk about that's very exciting for singers is going to be about nurturing that ability to songwrite and make your own music and your own sound. Exactly. So tell us a little bit about like those early steps for you and like your personal story around that.
So I started piano lessons when I was in 3rd grade. I don't know, how old are you? Like 9, 10, something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Somewhere between 8 and 10. 3rd grade, I started piano lessons. My mom was a piano player, like hobby, not professionally, but, was always a really good piano player. And so, I wanted to do the same thing. Studied classical piano, though, because that was the only option back then. Pop or jazz piano just wasn't a thing. So I studied classical piano, and I told my voice teacher, like, my piano teacher, I want to figure out how I can accompany myself when I sing these songs a couple of years later, right? And she was like, all right, let's figure out how to play these chords. And then eventually she was like, hey, you should write your own song. Now that you can play these chords, go write your own song. And I was probably like 12, 13 at that point. And I was like, good idea. Let's go do this. So
yes.
I started writing songs. Now, mind you, I barely spoke English at this point because we don't start English lessons until 7th grade in Switzerland. So, barely spoke English, but I never once have written a song in German, which is my mother tongue. Never wrote a song in German because that just didn't feel right, because I only sang and listened to English music. And that's actually why I'm really grateful that I went to acting school, like the musical theater school, because that's where I learned that what you sing about is very important. It's not just about sounding good. It's also about telling a story. Yeah. So that's why I don't regret going to musical theater school, because I hadn't learned that up until this point. And then I was like, oh, okay, this is important. Anyways, going back to songwriting. So I wrote my first song, and it was a whole family affair at that point. Like, my dad had to help me with like the English side of it, right? Like finding the words and, clever turns of phrases and all that. Cause I had no clue.
The rhymes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like,
so he helped me with that. And my mom, made melody suggestions because she was musically inclined. And my dad was always like, girl, I don't know anything. I just speak English, but I don't know anything about music. It was so funny. I had him on the podcast, and I played two notes next to each other, and I was like, which one's higher? And he guessed the wrong one. So he's really not musically inclined. But he helped me with the lyrics. So that was really nice.
Gotcha.
And so,
a poet.
Not even that. He just spoke English,
Good. That's good enough.
Exactly. So, the songs I wrote were like really bad, and that's okay. But I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm writing my own songs, right? Like, I'm a star.
Punk rock.
Exactly.
Hell yeah.
And then in high school, my senior project was designing a song with a loop station. Are you familiar with loop stations?
Yes, yeah. I have a loop thing, but I need to play with it more. It's like one of those things, that and like learning to produce and like use things on DAW programs so I can like actually produce like beats and shit. Those are the two things that are like on the docket, but like 10 million other things have prioritized
I understand.
this. I'm also selfishly interviewing you two to motivate my ass to like actually get my shit together with songwriting as well. My friends around me are like, bitch, you have to focus on this. Like, this is good. Like, do it. So anyway, it's side tangent. So anyway, you got a loop station.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I wrote a song using a loop station. So, you're pretty limited with it. You can just do 4 chords, and then it's the same 4 chords through the entire song. And so, I wrote this project, and the music teacher who graded me on my project was like, look, Lara, this is a good project, and I'm going to give you a good grade. But the song you wrote is hot garbage. It's really bad. But the project wasn't about songwriting, right? It was about the loop station. So that's why he could still give me a good grade. But he's like, you really need to learn how to write songs. And I was like, cool. But, there's no programs for this. Like, literally.
Yeah, like, how do you expect me to do that?
Exactly. Like, this is more than a decade ago now. And back then, there was no, like, you just... get a coach on the internet and you'll learn songwriting from them, or an online course on songwriting, or like a program locally somewhere that can offer songwriting. Like, nothing, absolutely nothing. So I was like, all right, sure, whatever. And so I just, kept writing songs, but I was always bad at it, especially lyrics. Oh my gosh, terrible lyricist. And I knew it, right? Like, all the lyrics that I wrote were very generic, cliche. I couldn't really say what I wanted to say. I couldn't express myself really. It was just very meh. And so, then I did the musical theater program, but I was like, all right, like, I really want to be a pop singer and, just be the main artist and do cool concerts, and that's what I want. I don't want to do theater. But also, my main passion was always singing, not anything else, really. I just wanted to be the singer. I did not want to have to worry about what songs I'm going to sing. I want somebody else to pick the songs that I'm going to sing, and I'm going to sing those songs. I'm going to make them my own. But I don't want to figure out what the backup dancers are going to do or anything. Like, I just wanted to be the singer. And that is just not the reality of the music industry anymore. That was the reality maybe 20, 30 years ago, maybe. Not even really. But now, definitely not. Or 10 years ago when I was trying to do this, definitely not. And so I quickly realized, if I want to have a career in this, I really need to learn how to write songs. So when I was at Berkeley, I took songwriting lessons. Like, my major was it was called pro music, where you put together your own major, essentially. So it was vocal performance, songwriting, and music business. It was kind of the major that I picked.
Wow.
And, I learned songwriting there, but still, especially lyric writing. Everyone around me was writing these amazing lyrics, and I still just couldn't do it. The only time my professors recognized me and my songs that I wrote was when I wrote a song with one of my friends. And the parts that they liked were the parts that he wrote. Right. And I was like, God damn it. I'm just not good. I'm just not a good songwriter. That's what I told myself.
So there was this story. So, Laura and I are talking about a container that eventually down the road I will come on and actually fully talk about that has to do with artist stories. I'm not going to get into that here because it isn't announced yet. However, I'm curious, like at that time when you were in that mentality, was the story, it's basically like giving you evidence of like, I'm no good at this. I'm no good at this. I'm no good at this. And then it's mirroring back to you, like you're getting that feedback. First of all, what was the approach that you were taking with lyric writing? Because I personally, sometimes I'm self-conscious about my lyrics, but mostly because I value them so highly. I'm like, my story is like, it's like I can't even start because that's never going to be like Whitney Houston. Like it's like that kind of thing, right? Like that's my story a little bit with lyricism is like, I love the poetry. I love artists like Dodie, like her lyrics are insane, or like the classic songwriter like Joni Mitchell. It's just like the amount that I put on the pedestal of the quality of the lyrics is so high because they've healed and moved me so much. But I've learned, and I'm curious about your approach to this and maybe how this is reflecting in the container. I'm not sure if there's a lyric portion of this, but yes. But like I got better at, I'm usually like a melody focus. Like I can feel and tell the story through melody. And then it's about if I'm in a charged emotional state, and I just literally just from that space and I channel whatever it is without judgment. And then I can figure out the fucking rhymes later. Like, right? Like that's my method of doing that. I'm curious, like because there's different ways, 100 ways to skin a cat, right? Like what was your way? And at that point that wasn't very successful that you were approaching lyrics, and how did you pivot, right? And I guess maybe this is what you'll share in your container. So share whatever you're comfortable with, and maybe they need to get, they need to sign up to get more of you. How did you shift out of that? Because that's like a big deal to have that strong of a story and then become a successful award-winning songwriter.
Yes.
What was that shift?
Yeah. Well, the problem was when I, at this time where I was just bad, I can't. And people tell me, not good. At that time, the problem was I literally did not have a system at all. Right? Like people would tell me about like object writing. All right. And now tell me everything that comes to mind when you think AirPod case. And I'm like, all right, cool. What the fuck does this have to do with the song that I'm going to write? And object writing is like the technique for songwriting, right? It's what everybody talks about when it comes to learning how to write songs. And now, many years later, I understand the value of it. But at that point, I had no idea how I'm going to bridge the gap between fucking writing about an AirPod case and taking what I learned in that and putting it into my song. I had no system, all right, first you do this, then you do this, and then you do this, and then you do this. And it was just like, all right, good luck, right? And like I said, I didn't grow up speaking English, and I only sang English songs, which means I never understood what I was singing about. I didn't really care about that. I cared about the melodies. So I was really fucking good at making melodies. Right? But when it came to lyrics, I was like, I don't know, right?
Does it matter?
Yes.
Like sometimes I remember when I was younger, I didn't even, it was like the lyrics didn't matter. It was all about the pop. And like some people consume music that way, and that's fine. It's just, what it's bringing me to as you're going into this, I think vocal technique can be like this too. It's like there's so many people that teach sensory, put here, gut, da, but that doesn't work for everyone. So there's an acknowledgement and there's a maturity and a self-acceptance and a pivot that happens when that isn't working and you want it badly enough. And it's almost sounding, and you keep going, I won't interrupt you, I'm sorry. But it sounds like you're recognizing that method it just wasn't working for who you were, your brain, your upbringing, the bit, like how you consumed music.
Exactly.
And it's sounding like you're starting to pivot and customize it in a way that was not done before. You're like pioneering a different way of doing it. So object writing wasn't working.
No, not at all. And you're so right.
working.
You're so right. Like it was very much geared towards people that already valued lyrics. And not that I didn't, but not to that extent, right? And so I got lucky. I really got lucky, and I got signed with a manager who saw my potential as a performer, not necessarily as a writer. But as a performer. At that point, he had never heard anything that I wrote. And he was like, yeah, well, she's studying at Berkeley. She can probably write.
She'll figure it out. That's probably good enough.
But he actually got me some songwriting coaching with people. And that was really helpful, like people in the industry. And also, he just put me in rooms with professional writers and producers. And that's when the shift happened. And it was the questions that my co-writers asked me that made me realize, oh, there's a system to this. Now, it took me years after that to realize, oh no, there's really a system to this. But just like having them ask me the right questions made me be able to tell the story that I wanted to tell. And then literally it was just like, they were just writing down what I told them. And then here's the lyrics. Like literally, it was just the story that I was telling. And then sure, we would make tweaks to it, right? And would figure out some rhyme things and things like that, like, and make sure it goes with the melodies that we created and all that stuff. But I was like, oh shit, like it's literally just the story as I would tell it. That's all it is. There's no like, you have to be super clever. You have to be a poet. You have to whatever. Like, sure, that's cool if you can do that, but that's not where you start. You first start with just telling the story, and then you do all these other things to make it rhyme, make it more poetic, make it blah, 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 right? But I never even got to that point. Like, or maybe I did it in the reverse order where I first wanted to get the rhymes. That was more important to me that it rhymed because, again, to me, it was all about what does it sound like, not what am I saying. It was about what it sounded like, and rhymes sound good. And the words that go with the melody, like that's what I cared about, not necessarily what I was talking about. And so I flipped the script on its head then because I saw like, oh, okay, no, I'm just telling the story. And then I would tweak that to make sure it flows well with the music. And that's when everything changed. And, you know, before I could never finish a song. Once we got to the second verse, I was like, well, what the fuck? What else am I supposed to say? Right? Like, I have nothing else to say. I already said everything. But
well, then it's about getting clear on knowing and unblocking that ability that I do have something to say.
Yes.
Like, there is actually an element to that too. And again, like, I will be talking about that more later. But it's like, unlocking that belief in yourself, Delulu belief in yourself too, and that kind of divine creative like channel of like, no, what my experience, my observation of the world, my message is worth something.
Yeah.
I do have something to say. And so it almost sounds like it's like you were like, oh wait, I do? Like, wait, I can do that? Wait,
honestly,
what?
You know what? Like I said, grew up with wonderful parents. I have very little trauma from my childhood. I got bullied severely. I think that's the only thing for my childhood where I'm like, yeah, that's a little bit of trauma. But everything else, butterflies and rainbows or whatever that saying is, right? And I, for the longest time, was like, maybe I just need to make up stories of trauma and depression so that people would take me seriously as an artist. Truly, I had that thought.
Interesting.
I really had that thought. And I was like, but Lara, that's not who you are. You are a sunshine person, right?
Yeah. Well, and we need music like that. That's the other thing that we're pivoting into that's also part of this thing. It's like, I think also the music industry, I'm curious about this. Like, I'm also kind of a spiritual person. I love like, but like the Hertz and all this stuff. And there's some new artists like Abel Hart, I'm like so down with because of how he writes music and raps. And like the Hertz, like there's something about like the frequency at which things are tuned to and how it's actually like lower vibe energy for certain genres of music. If you are like so to speak, high vibe angel baby and making music. Why, what about that music industry made you feel that there was no place for that? That it isn't actually even absolutely fucking necessary for actually so far to say like the good of the world, so that you are bringing happy, joyful messaging, positive things. Like it's so much easier to find music that drags down. And listen, there's a place to process your breakup through and grief and all this stuff. And yes, that is necessary. However, there's just so much of that, right? So like, were you receiving messaging of like, oh, my joyful natural state of being like isn't welcome here? Like that's kind of what it sounds like. That's what I'm hearing from you.
Yes, but not necessarily once I was in the industry. It was more a belief that was instilled in me from earlier, from all those stupid fucking reality TV shows.
Wait, was it American Idol?
Yeah,
Was it,
all
was
of
it
those.
that?
Right?
Yes! Fucking okay, sorry, I probably clipped on that. Yes, I like got really aggressive on that. But anyway, oh my God, right? Like I talk about that all the time, all that like secondhand shaming people witness. So you saw in those stories, oh, I don't have enough of a sob story.
Exactly.
To, like, be
Exactly.
here?
Yeah. And that was just a belief that I then carried with me subconsciously, right? Not like I was actively thinking about that, but it translated into actively thinking like, do I need to make up that I have depression? Do I need to make up like some stupid fucking story that's just not true? And I'm like, no, like the thought didn't last very long because it's just not who I am, but still it was a thought. And I remember having that thought. So it was it was a real thought.
It was a thing.
thought. Yeah.
It was a real thing. Yeah. So okay. So this is so interesting. And again, I love getting into more of these kinds of conversations on the podcast too, because these are like stuff no one fucking does them. Like this is an important element of it, right? It's that like deeper work that like then goes into, hey, I'm going to have the balls now to call myself a songwriter and like claim this space and know that I can do this and actually stop the story of I can't write lyrics. Yeah. It's really that you needed the system. So I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about the system or how you started to develop. I mean, it sounds like you're an expert at this. I mean, you talked about I have read about you and writing these songwriting competitions once you started getting this new belief system in the mentorship and really being in the world seems to be the thing that really moved you. Tell us a little bit about that, getting that confidence, owning that, and then we'll kind of get into the system and talk about this new thing that you're now gifting this other way of doing things to people, which is so cool. I'm like you're selling me on it. We haven't even fucking talked about it yet. Like I'm like, do I sign up for this shit? Maybe, girl. Maybe. Okay, but tell me.
Let's figure out about it. No,
let's talk about it.
So yeah, it really started when I was in the industry, right? Doing the thing and learning from these masters. Like the producer that I was working with has produced many number one hits, like with Selena Gomez, for example, right? And it was just like, wow, okay, like I'm in the room with the right people. There's no reason why I cannot succeed now. The only reason would be me stopping myself, right? Me sabotaging myself. So I'm just gonna pretend like I'm the baddest bitch on this planet. I'm gonna do this thing. And so you were asking about the framework, right? Like the system. So when we were writing my album back down in Nashville, I didn't realize that it was the system, but I realized this later. But how we did it was myself, the producer, and the co-writer in the room. And I came in with a song title and an idea of what I wanted the song to be about. The producer would make the track on the spot because he's a fucking wizard. Shout out to Matt Bromley. He's insane. But he would just make up the track on the spot in like 15 minutes. And myself and my co-writer, I worked with different people as far as like co-writing goes. We would then create the lyrics and the melodies. And this is called top lining. And I didn't know that back then. So when you are writing to a track that already exists, right? Like you don't have to worry about the chord progression. You don't have to worry about playing an instrument or knowing any music theory or anything like that. You have a track that you then write to. Now, in my case, Matt was making the track on the spot. And, I was just writing over it. But in other people's cases, right, when you're first just learning about this, you can pick a track off the internet. There's hundreds and thousands of, probably millions of tracks at this point for sale for very cheap that you can just buy, and then you can write your own songs over it. There's many beat platforms for this, like Beatopia or BeatStars. You can literally go on YouTube. Like, there's thousands of tracks that you can write to. Just pick one that you like. And so, again, didn't know that this was actually a thing, that top lining was a thing. It is now actually the industry standard. About 80 to 90% of writing sessions, especially in LA, are no instruments involved, just a producer and top lining, and that's it. And Nashville is a little bit more, maybe 50, 60%. But still, top lining is the industry standard now. And again, back then, didn't know that that was a thing. I also didn't feel like I was cheating because that's what the professionals are doing. All right, I'm on board. Let's go. Right?
Yeah, because to me, and again, I've done some songwriting, but I'm a little in shadow about it, right? I'm like coming out. I'm entering a very creative part of my life, hopefully. I mean, I think course creation is creative as well. It's a different way of helping people. I love it. I love it too. And my business coaches are like, you have to fucking stop. You have so much going on. And I'm like, okay. Anyway. But like, it's like so many perceptions around like, oh God, like I have to do it right. Like I'm not a songwriter if I can't play the guitar. And it just, people never start because then it's this, oh, well, I have to have everything exactly in place in my idea of how it's done to actually do the thing. Instead of what you're saying is it's actually an industry standard. Hey, Cluephone, actually, that's not how anyone, people do it that way, but it's not really how it has to be done. You're saying go resource yourself with tracks and things that already exist and just fucking start and do the song.
Yes, thank you.
Is what I'm kind of hearing, right? It's like,
here's the thing. Melodies and lyrics are copyrightable, right? Chord progressions are not. Yet so many people get stuck with like, oh, I don't play an instrument. Or maybe they do play an instrument, but then they make up these complicated ass chord progressions where they then can't create melodies over it that make sense to the, like, I have worked with people who both do not play an instrument and people who are fantastic instrumentalists. And the people who are fantastic instrumentalists struggle more than people who cannot play an instrument with actually writing a song that people want to listen to. Now, that is a generalized statement. Of course, there's exceptions. But they get so caught up in the crazy things that the instruments are doing and the crazy chord progressions and the tweaks and the blah, 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 where then the song that they're writing over it, the lyrics and the melodies just don't end up being anything that's actually singable and that people want to sing along to and that they want to listen to because it's too complicated, right? And so, anyways, I didn't realize that this was actually a system until I had a 10-year-old student named Marin. And this was when I first started Vox Tape, right? So when I was doing the system, I hadn't started Vox Tape yet. I was an artist. And then later I transitioned into coaching. But my 10-year-old student, Marin, she wrote a song using this method. And the song that she wrote was so good for a 10-year-old kid. Literally, I was just listening to it 2 days ago, and it's still stuck in my head. Lounging in my swimsuit, no worries on my mind today. You know I'm looking real cute. I don't care what people say. I don't waste any more of my time chasing you. You're not in my head anymore. Because we're through, I won't waste any more of my time chasing you because we're through. Like, come on. A 10-year-old wrote
vibing.
This.
I'm taking this clip of us on Zoom. I don't have my fancy camera set up yet, but like us just being like vibing to this like and it'll be like, I already see it now. The content will be like when your student writes a bop and you talk about it on a podcast later and we're just like
it is so good. Like, again, like, sure, it's not the most poetic thing, but this is a 10-year-old kid who wrote this song. And it is stuck in my head and I can sing it every day, all day, and I freaking love it. And I was like, wow, if a 10-year-old can write a song who doesn't play an instrument, knows shit about fuck when it comes to music theory, and like, if a 10-year-old can do this, there's no reason why not everybody can do this, right? And so I was like, wow, okay. And this is when I then developed the actual like step-by-step system of like, all right, first step, we're going to pick a track. Second step, we're going to create melodies. Third step, we're going to, use my 4-step lyric writing formula to actually write lyrics that mean something to you.
And get it
exactly.
done.
And get it done.
And finish them.
Finish it,
Yes.
right? Just basically the system that you need to turn all of your ideas that you have, your notebook full of ideas, your voice memos on your phone, all of that into actual complete songs that you like and that you're excited to share with people. And then I also teach people how to record said songs as well. Because you don't have to worry about the production of the song because the song is already produced because you picked the track that you liked. But I'm going to show you how to customize it, right? Like because sometimes the song structure isn't quite right or whatever, right? Like I'm showing people how to customize the track so it's exactly what you want it to be, and then how to record great vocals over it so that you have a release-ready song if you want to. You'd have to outsource the mastering, but everything else you can do yourself.
Yeah.
And now, boom, you can release a song a week if you want to. It is so easy if you have a system.
So this is what this container is going to offer people, basically. You're going to take them step by step. By the end, they're going to have the capability to literally poop out a song a week if they want. That's basically what you're teaching.
Now,
girl, I'm signing up for this fucking thing, okay?
Let's do it, baby.
Girl, I was like, hell yeah. Well, that's my fault. That's why I was like, maybe we should talk. I'm having the intuitive hit that we need to fucking long form talk about this because this is exactly like my problem. Is like I have songs and I'm overcomplicating things or I'm not committing to finishing it. And like, yes, like there are times and places to make things that are a little funkadelic that are outside maybe the bubble of how the song structure like in contemporary music works. Sure. Like I'll write a lot of classical piano stuff, which melody wise, emotion wise, helps me paint. Like as an actor, I don't think I have any problem like expressing the emotion in the story. Like that's usually how I just end up pooping out completed songs. However, if I'm not in that emotionally charged place and I want to just write a fucking bop, right? Stop paralyzing yourself. Like stop. It's almost like I'm not starting and like committing myself to the practice of it. And I'm finding every other excuse as to not finish and really commit myself fully to it. Because if I had a system under my belt that I could rely on and lean on when that emotion, like when I'm not feeling emotionally struck, you know what I mean?
Oh my God.
Then it's like, it clears it up. You know what I'm saying? But that's the, like, and it's like putting the pressure. It's like, I know I can write a fucking fantastic, beautiful, moving song. And at the same time, then it's like, well, then I never release it though, because then it's not all the way finished. Or as far as production goes, or like, I'll even go so far, Laura, I'm not even hooking my fucking keyboard up to MIDI. Like I'll just do it as an instrument track. And then it takes me forever to record it. Or then I'm like, oh, I don't want to re-record it. And then it's just never done. It's like these little self-sabotaging ways of hiding still, of being like, I don't really want people to hear my music because there's this preciousness to it. It's like, it's for me though. Like, so I feel like some system like this, if what I said to any of the listeners out there is true, which I feel like it's true for a lot of people, is getting to the emotional, what is the emotional fucking reason you're not finishing it? Right. And then what you're doing is presenting a solution of like, I don't care what fucking excuse you have, bitch. Like, go to the gym. Right? Like here's the routine. Do it.
Exactly.
Like, as opposed to I have to figure it out, and then just no one starts because they're so overwhelmed, right? Like this sounds lit as hell. Okay, so tell us more. Okay, sorry, I'm like talking a lot. I want you to talk more.
I
about
love it.
So there's also an opportunity, to get some more information, a little bit more in depth over what we're talking about today for free. Can you tell us a little bit about that window that they can take advantage of even more stuff for you?
Yes, absolutely. So on October 14th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific Time, I'm hosting together with Coach Juliana. So you actually get to meet our wonderful Coach Juliana on our team, who's going to be doing the group classes classes. But anyways, come and join us there. It's going to be a live class on Zoom, and it's called How to Write Songs You'll Actually Like. So, this framework stuff that we're talking about, we're going to break it down on this call, and we're going to take action together so that we can actually start writing something. And it's going to be a fantastic class. It's free to attend live. There is a VIP upgraded option if you can't join live, and there's a couple bonuses included in that as well. But if you come and join us live, it's free. So you got nothing to lose.
Love that. Okay, great. So we will also link that in the show notes here so that you can come to the free live event, and also of this new exciting thing that she's offering everybody. There will be details on that as well. Laura's just giving gifts on gifts. So
Yay!
That's why, yay, gifts on gifts on gifts. So in this thing, okay. That's my, again, video clip. I will, by the time we do another episode together, I will have to figure out a fucking better way than this camera situation. So, because you're going to want me going like this for your audience for sure. But all that to say is, okay, so structure-wise, so you're communicating with us. What is the end result of working with you in this way? And so how long is the program? What is it? It kind of sounds like it is a pretty specific incubator of time.
Yes.
What is that?
Yeah. So when you're enrolling in the program, it's actually a cohort. So you're getting the online course with all the videos explaining the framework. There's also application videos in there where I literally had a singer who did not know how to write a song in the studio with me. And I taught her this framework, and she wrote a song using that framework. And we filmed it so that you can see an application of it, because I'm one of those people who yeah, you can tell me what to do, but I'm going to need to see you do it so that I can also do it. I need to see an example. So I was like, all right, we're going to put an example in there. And so that's the online course side of it. But, I've created a lot of online courses, and I have sold a lot of online courses. And unfortunately, a lot of people, they get excited at first, and then they buy it, and then they never actually do anything with it. They don't even open it.
They don't do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, cool, but you were so close right now.
But you even took the step and then you didn't
Exactly,
open it?
right? Or they watch the first video and they're like, yeah. And then life happens. Life always happens. Life always happens.
Well, life always happens, and it's a sabotaging behavior.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it is.
And so we're like, all right, we're going to figure out a way to make sure that you're not sabotaging yourself. So this is going to be an 8-week cohort where for 8 weeks, we're walking you through everything. You're going to watch the videos on your own, and then you're going to write your songs, and then you're going to submit your songs, and you're going to get feedback on your songs. And when you're getting stuck, we're going to tell you, here's some things that you can do to take it to the next step. So you're going to meet once a week for 8 weeks in a group format with my wonderful and amazing songwriting coach, Juliana, on my team. She's the one doing the group cohort coaching. And they're going to be small groups, okay? It's not 15 people in a group. It's going to be 5 or 6 people in a group. So small groups so that everybody gets the chance to get one-on-one time with Juliana. Juliana is a singer-songwriter and artist development expert in LA. She is currently actually in New York performing.
Good for her.
But usually she's in
yeah.
LA, and she has millions of streams on her own songs, and so she knows what she's doing. And I'm very excited to have her on the team. So the group coaching aspect will be with her. Now, there is a version where you can do one-on-one coaching with me for 8 weeks. There's just a different price point, obviously, because it's one-on-one versus group. So for 8 weeks, and you can, not just in your group classes, at any point you have access to our community. You can just ask, and we're right there to walk you through it for 8 weeks. And the goal by the end of those 8 weeks is to have at least minimum 2 to 3 songs done and recorded, and to have the framework to poop out a song, like you said, to poop out a song a week.
Love a poop out.
Yeah.
Love a little. That's how I describe it, because that's what it feels like sometimes. It's like if you've been delaying writing, sometimes it's usually how my system goes is my neglect of my songwriting system. I'll go like months, maybe even years without songwriting, and then I'm so emotionally moved. It's like I have to take a big poop, and then I write out a fantastic fucking song. I just like, and then it's just like runny crap after that. Like it's like there's one good one, and then there's like a bunch of shit songs after that. So it's like the Ed Sheeran analogy of like sometimes the water, like when you turn on a tap, like there's going to be like mucky water that comes out for a long time, and then the water will clear and it'll be good. And I'm so sorry I was talking about now it's gross. I'm sorry, everybody listening. Okay, I apologize. But you know what I'm saying? It's like you got to clear out and like get good at it. And it's a skill that you build just like anything else. So it sounds like you're holding people's hand.
Absolutely.
And that it's that accountability factor.
Exactly.
It's that accountability and guidance so that the overwhelm of the prospect of doing it, it's almost like you're teaching people to trust themselves, and you're actually giving them a framework and a system that like, hey, listen, it might not be as crazy as you think it is. Like, we're going to do it together. You and me, or in this group, we have this. Groups are really cool too. I teach group lessons as well. I love groups, and it's still a newer thing for me. Like we're just wrapping up the third trimester of doing the like lessons in that way. As long as it's small, I think it has to be small to be in integrity. If you're going to get one-on-one like feedback, but there is this element of accountability and like teamwork and cheering people on. And you seem like a high vibe, like fantastic fucking person. And I feel like when the teacher or the person designing it is like, I only attract like fucking kick-ass people. It's like, that's your story around it. Then that's what happens. It's like your clients that you attract are also like similar in the way they approach things and their vibe. And so that makes the groups really magnetic and just like a cheer space. Like, is this the first time you're hosting this kind of container? Is this like an exclusive first time thing? Or is this like, have you done this before? Like, tell us a little bit about the history. Like, or if is it going to be done again? Or is like, this is it, folks? Like, get your ass in there. Like, we don't know when it's happening again. Like, what's the urgency of this? And what is the development of this?
We started teaching the program the way it is, like as an 8-week program in 2022. So this is not the first time we're teaching people how to write a song. We've been doing it for a couple years. And so at first, when I developed the program, it was just me doing the teaching and finessing the program and all that. Then eventually, Juliana on my team, she took over as I stepped away from doing one-on-one coaching. But this round is the first, the way it is exactly like this way. Like we didn't have the online course portion before. So we had 8 lessons only, but I also had to teach you all of the techniques and all of the everything in those lessons. So, you know, it was...
But that takes a lot of space to repeat things. I did the same thing with my group lessons. I was like, you have to have pillars as a prereq. You cannot come to group lessons unless you have pillars, because I can't just keep teaching the same shit over and over again. You need to know this, and then we get to work on song. You get to do the shit you want to do. Right?
Exactly. So our one-on-one time is not spent me explaining you something that you could have just watched a video for. You can now just watch the video, and then we can use our one-on-one time really efficiently and actually digging deep into your song. And so this is the first time where we have the course that accompanies it. And it's also the first time that we're doing it as a group cohort. We have done groups before for other programs, but not for the songwriting program. So I'm really, really, really excited about it because it allows us to bring the price point down a little bit.
because they're pulling their money. And this is very high value stuff, guys. It's like, you know, I'm probably actually undercharging for group lessons myself, but like to have that safety, like again, stuff like this doesn't really exist.
No.
Right. And so when you do it in a group way, it helps everybody pool their money together to get something of high value while learning from each other, while getting that cheer section. So the group aspect, even though it's like, but I want one-on-one attention, girl, you'll get it. All right, you will get it by existing in here, but then it's way more accessible. I found that
and
too.
Also, you will learn just as much from the coaching that your friend in your group is getting as you will get on your own song. Because maybe you didn't need that piece of advice for the song that you're writing right now, but maybe you need that piece of advice for your next song. So now you can already apply this in your next song, and you're already now steps ahead that you would not have had you done one-on-one coaching. right? So
Right.
I am a big, big, big fan of these groups. And I understand, especially, for people who are like, girl, I have never written a song in my life. I'm scared shitless to do this. And I don't want people to judge me. That's usually the big thing why people don't start, is because they're afraid of failure and afraid of judgment, right? And if you're doing this in a group where everybody is on the same journey as you, and you can do it in a safe space, like, it is such a magical thing. And you'll see, like, oh, I don't have to be afraid of this. I'm not the only one learning about this. I don't have to start out great. And I have the support. It truly is such a great space, just to connect with others and make friendships that way too. I feel like, we're just living through our phones and watching other people live their lives. We kind of forget to live our own. So this is nice.
Well, I've talked about the importance of that too in content when I've been, talking about group lessons. And, I was working with my business coach, which is like really just getting to the core of it so people really know the true value of it. So that, because that's half of what selling quote unquote something is really, just like, hey, listen, like, I made this because I'm trying to help you. And like, how do I communicate the best way possible to impart like this thing, because I know it's going to work, right? And that's what ethical like business owners do, right? Like, that's what you do and that's what I do. And it's like, and the big thing was, that sense of community, that sense of artistry, companionship around people that fucking get it is really hard to come by. When you don't have a way to connect with people in that way. Like, I value the group lessons that I've been part of, both vocally through IVA and like connecting with other singers and teachers in that community. You can lean on each other, right? It's not competitive. It's, hey, you're going to serve certain groups of people. I'm going to serve certain groups of people. We're both vocalists. We've lived similar journeys, right? I can lean on you, you can lean on me, we can help each other and work together. And then with actors, especially, that group lesson is a huge big deal. Like, my acting classes that I've taken that are group, it's like, you just admire people, like, they're just so talented. And it's almost like, especially when you're in groups where you see growth and you're in it long enough and you experience growth and other people are witnessing you in that, it's just like, wow, man, like, it's that sense of like, you get it.
Exactly.
As opposed to like when you're just on your own, it's a lonely world, yo. It's
100%.
like you're on your own. Good, figure it out.
100%.
Like you need
well,
community.
and also I'm a little bit of a competitive person, and so
me too.
And so, when you go to like a gym class, you kick your own ass so hard that you don't look like a fucking loser in that group class.
You mean like group fitness, like group fitness stuff? You're like, I have to be elite at this thing. So it's like a motivator.
No, exactly. So guess what? If you're in a group with other people, you're not going to want to show up to your group class and have nothing to show. You're going to push yourself. You're going to push yourself. And that's what we need. Like, honestly, in this day and age, we don't need more information on anything. Like, honestly, you just go to YouTube, go to Google. There's nothing you can't learn for free, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is the application of it. Nobody understands how to apply said information and said knowledge anymore.
Yeah.
And even if you know how to apply it, we don't push ourselves to do it because, okay, so my friend Friedemann Findeisen, he's a songwriting coach. His company is called Holistic Songwriting Academy, and he is fantastic. Now, what we do is more beginner to intermediate friendly. What he does is very advanced, okay? So, like, you work with us so that you can work with him later. So he's a friggin' genius. But we were talking about, we had a podcast episode, and we were talking about songwriting, and he said he read this book, could not tell you what it's called or who it's written by, but he said this person explained the difference between urgency and importance and asked people, what do you think is more important, urgent things or important things? And everybody said urgent things. Right? Because there's a time factor on it. Now, here's the thing. The reason why something is urgent is because of outside factors. I have to pay this bill because the company told me to by X date. I have to answer to this email because this person needs a response from me, right? Like, whatever it is, it's urgent because of external factors. Important things are important because of internal factors. It is important to you to do these things. Now, the majority of humans do things that are urgent, and there will always be things that are urgent. And so the things that are important to them take a backseat, and then they never get to it. And so they say, I will write a song when I get to it. Or next year, in 2026, that's my New Year's resolution. I will do it. But guess what? There will be a million things that are going to be more urgent. And so you will keep pushing it back, keep pushing it back, keep pushing it back. And then you'll never end up doing the things that are important to you. And that's a miserable life to live.
Right. Well, and then where can we, in that combination of things, like as someone that's farther along down that road on that path and seeing the actual importance, seeing it reflected in people and seeing them not take action in it, where's actually the urgency in honoring that importance to you? Right? Like I talk about that to people all the time. Especially because this is a limited container, but what it needs to is emphasized here is what are you losing by continuing to put it on the back burner, right? It's like, no, like let's look at the importance factor and how that's affecting your life. Like I talk about that in Pillars and Advanced Mix, my like technical courses. It's like, okay, so there's an investment, but like how much longer are you willing to sit in this discomfort of not having this thing done when it's gnawing at you and you're going to choose every single time to prioritize something else because of XYZ reason, when really if you emphasize the internal importance and you honor that in yourself and you go, hey, I'm actually not willing to sit in this anymore, right? It's getting real with yourself to honor the importance, right? That then creates, it redirects urgency to be like, oh, wait, like my dreams are actually the most important thing. Me investing and finally taking those steps and committing and being like, fuck it. You know what? No, I'm not willing to have another audition, if it was a musical theater, another audition season where I'm lost again. Like, what are you actually losing by doing that? Right? How many times are you going to sabotage yourself? So as a songwriter, how many more times are you going to be willing to keep saying no to the thing you actually want to do? Right? And that's kind of what like that twist on the urgency importance thing is. And I think can help a lot of people. I mean, it helps me. I mean, you're helping me right now. I'll be like, oh yeah. It's easy because, and if I'm speaking personally, it's like songwriting, and it kind of comes back to that arts conversation. It's like full circle of like what's being valued in society. And again, I'm making a container that I'll talk about more here that is really going to help artists refocus on the importance and their worth being here and what they do. And the whole factor of it is what if that importance and that pull and that drive was actually the most important thing? And what if you did actually take that seriously? So it's like you're giving people that opportunity also by being like, I'll take your hand. Okay, you did that scary step. Okay, let's go. Yeah. And then that 8-week period of time, you're like letting people do that. What is the window of time? And then we have to wrap up here because we're just talking. But I'm like, it's been so great. I'm like, can we be friends now?
Please.
Like, I love this. I was like, I want to have you back on to even just, maybe when you're doing something else and something else is coming up and, but just also to talk about like the music business side of things, I think is so big and like people are so intimidated by it. They don't have any idea. But anyway, I think that's going to have to be a part 2 or like later down the line. But tell us about like the dates that people need to know, because I think this is a really cool thing, and it seems limited. Like it's a once a year thing, or is it do you not know when it's going to happen again?
Yeah,
like
I don't have it on the schedule yet for next year. So
yeah.
This is it.
It's kind of it. This is kind of it. That's what I tell people. It's like, how are you going to be willing to not take yourself seriously anymore? You don't know. You don't know if it's going to happen again, right? So, and what are the specific dates of when it's like? When do they have to sign up by, and when does it start?
So the enrollment window is from October 14th until October 19th. So this is Tuesday through Sunday. It is coming up, people.
Ooh, girl.
Yep.
They got 5 days.
You got 5 days.
You got to decide.
Girl, we're not here to like mess around, right? Like we're here to work and we're here to get shit done. And if you're on board with that and you're like, yep, I no longer want to put my own important things and my own life and my desires on the back burner, we're here to get shit done, okay? So you got 5 days to decide. Now, if you enroll on October 14th or on October 15th, basically on that first day, you actually get a really cool fast action bonus. You get rewarded. We're going to send you all of the recording equipment that you need to your home. So you're going to get a microphone, an interface, headphones, all of the above for free. So we're going to mail it to you for free. We're going to cover shipping. We're going to cover everything. So,
girl, what the fuck? Are you serious?
Like I told you, like the reason why people don't take action is because it feels overwhelming. And every single little rock, even if it's a tiny little pebble on that journey, it's going to make you want to quit and stop, right? Like you said, like I sometimes don't even plug in my MIDI, right? Like we are making it as stupidly easy as possible to make sure that you're not getting off track, right? So we're even sending you all the recording equipment that you need, and you get our recording vocals for singers course included in that as well, so you can actually learn how to use this equipment. So anyways, that's a little fast action bonus if you sign up before, like on Wednesday, Tuesday or Wednesday. If you sign up Tuesday or Wednesday, that's included. After that, not anymore. So make sure you sign up on day one.
Yeah. Get your ass in there.
And then when does the program start? So we're actually hosting a singing retreat starting on the 21st in Mexico. So yeah, I was super excited. We have 15 singers join us in Mexico for a week to go sing and record music. So we actually give people the opportunity to record the songs that they have written right there in Mexico with us. I'm bringing a producer with me and a videographer to record music videos for it too. So I'm fucking excited about it. So that'll be the following week from the 21st through the 6th. So the 8 weeks of coaching starts the week of the 27th, okay, October 27th. So you enroll, you have a week to go through some of the videos because you need some time to actually, do something before your first lesson, right? So you have a week to go watch some of the videos. You get access to that right away, okay? And start, figuring out, all right, how am I going to write the song? I'm going to follow the steps that Lara has said here in these videos. I'm going to do the thing. And so by the time you do your first lesson the following week, the week of the 28th, you already have something that you can show us and that we can coach you through. So you get access right away, but the first coaching session is a week later. And then it's 8 weeks, and then you're done before Christmas.
Okay, and this is a selfish question. What day is it? I'm like, does it conflict with my schedule?
So
that's what I'm like, ooh, does it?
No, so when you enroll, you will tell us what availability you have, and then we will put you in a group that works for you. Because we will probably have more than one group. I'm sure hoping that more than 5 people will sign up for this.
Got it. So you will. So it's like you're customizing. The more people that sign up, kind of it's like the more flexibility they'll probably
exactly
be with
yes.
the groups.
And you will submit your songs ahead of time for feedback, anyways. So that, we don't have to worry on Zoom, right? Like, oh, I can't hear your song. Like, fuck, like, I don't want to worry about that shit. Like audio settings and all that stuff. It's easy. It's easy. And once you figure it out, it's done. But like, I just don't want to have to worry about that and waste time with that. So you're actually going to submit your song ahead of time. And even if you can't make it live that week, or ever, for whatever reason, I don't think that's ever going to happen because, again, we'll work with your schedule to make it work. But if you can't make it live, you can submit your song ahead of time either way. And we will, like Juliana, will talk about your song on that live class and record it and send it to you so that you can watch it later and still get feedback even if you couldn't be there live. Sure, it's cool if you're there live because then you can ask questions right away as well. But again, we'll ask everybody's availability and then create different groups and place you in a group that works with your schedule.
Okay, interesting. Dude, I'm like dead ass like fucking look into this.
Do it.
I'm like, maybe I need to do this. Yeah. I'm like, man, like, oh, and my friends who have written with me or have encouraged me to write. And, I'm also like halfway through the artist's way too, like, which is again, a huge, like, get off your ass and do the workbook. So I'm like, man, is this kind of a, like, did I attract this in so that I could like actually commit to this? Because in all honesty, I'm, as I'm pushing out this final thing that I'm excited to talk about and will be on Laura's podcast to talk about here eventually. But it's like, oh, I got to put my money where my mouth is too. It's like, okay, so like I'm encouraging artists to heal, work through their stories, take some action steps here, like actual ways to like make your brain do the thing. And I have to do that.
Yeah.
if I'm integrity, right? Which we want to be in integrity as business owners.
Yes.
Here.
It's so much easier to give other people advice than to do it yourself and like take your own advice and apply your own advice and all that. So I totally understand, right? And here's the thing, everybody's busy, right? Like busy creating a new course, busy, building your business, busy auditioning, busy with your kids, right? Maybe you have a family. And you have a job, and like there's always a lot to juggle, but it is one of those things where it's like, okay, well, if I don't do it now, I'm probably never going to do it, so I might as well do it now.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to link all of the ways that you can check out this awesome way that Laura's helping people in the show notes. So you'll have access to that. Please check it out. Like, and again, it's that urgency of like, how much longer are you going to kind of wait? I mean, I talk about that when I sell stuff all the time. By the time this podcast comes out, I would have just been pushing the Renaissance Sale, which is a technical singing course. So that one's focused. That's to give you the toolbox to get your instrument to make the sounds that you hear in your head that you want to sing, but you can't make the textures happen. So that's an instrumentalist vocal thing. But this container is more like, all right, so let's make this creative process happen.
Yeah.
So it's just really exciting. I want to thank you so much, Laura, for sharing and being so generous here with us today. And is there anything else you'd like to kind of leave the audience with here in like, things you forgot to say that you want to mention, or even just advice that you would want to leave them with? Anything like that?
Yeah. I would say, the one thing to remember is that this cohort was specifically designed for singers, right? Like it's literally called Songwriting for Singers is what it's called. And so, don't be intimidated if you don't play an instrument, if you don't know any music theory, any of that. You, like I said a million times, you don't need any of that to write great songs. And again, if 10-year-old Marin could do it, so can you. And I would just leave you with this saying, you've been singing other people's songs for a really long time. I think it's time that you start writing your own and hear your own voice on something that you wrote, your words, your lyrics, your melodies. It's really special, and it's going to help you find your sound. Like as an artist, like vocally as a singer, but also as an artist. And it's just really magical when you can express yourself that way. So, I'm not saying stop singing other people's words and melodies. Continue doing that. But I think it's also time for you to start singing and writing your own.
Laura, are you just speaking to me? I'm like, did I just have you on here to like help me? Because that's what I'm like selfishly like, you're right. Oh, shit.
Let me send you the enrollment link right now so you can make a commitment right now. No, I'm kidding.
Literally, I'm like, I'm getting in there, bitches. You don't get a spot. I'm claiming that spot.
When
you
is
don't
this?
get it.
This is coming out before October 14th, right? So
this is coming up before. So they should be, they can sign up, right? They will sign up, but like maybe I got in early and you have to check.
And also for the one-on-one coaching with me, there's only 10 spots. I cannot take on more than 10 people. Okay. Like my schedule's already packed.
Oh, no.
So I only have 10 spots if you work with me one-on-one. Groups are, again, that's not going to be an issue there because we just create different groups. Like however many signups we have, we'll create different groups for it. But yeah, I mean, I'll send you the sign. You already have the sign up link anyways. So
yeah, I will look at that and attach it below for those listeners, but I will be looking at it myself.
And then they can sign up because it's going to be live before the 14th already anyways, but the official announcement is on the 14th. So if you're listening now and it's not the 14th yet, you can already enroll. Just check the link.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. That's the bonus. Okay. Like, listen, I'm all about like my email list. Also, if you're not on the fucking email list, get your ass on that email list. Right? That's where I announced, like, I would have sent a freebie thing earlier. Laura's already providing extra things, and you would have gotten it if you were on the email list, which is the Secret Singer Digest, because we have to have a name for it so it doesn't sound like email list. But like this is the benefit of doing email, like being on that email list and listening to this podcast, because you get that that information a little early. You get dibs because y'all are the OGs. You know, you're the number one fans. Y'all, I love my listeners. So take advantage of it. I think give this gift to yourself, like honor yourself. This is kind of when I'm enthusiastic about stuff that I'm selling, which, you know, there's always something kind of going on, or when I hear about another offer that someone's doing that I just know is going to serve my audience, like I am more than happy to be like, put it on full blast and be like, listen, help yourself. Because otherwise, why would I do this at all? Right? Like, what's the point of teaching and being passionate about sharing these resources if you don't really believe in them or, you know? So that's why I was like enthusiastic when you messaged me. I was like, you know what? I think this sounds fucking lit. So like, let's take this to the next level. Poor Laura, I like left her on red for a few days because I was traveling. And then she's like, hey. And I was like, I'm sorry. I'm back. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Anyway, you're like, hey. What was the TikTok where she's like, hey. Yeah,
exactly.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing? And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, Laura. Anyway, okay, cool. So let's wrap it up here. The listeners have heard our very passionate, enthusiastic conversation about songwriting, and I will have to have you back on to talk about more business stuff because this is really valuable shit. Even this episode that's free that you can consume is so valuable, and I hope you guys were able to take something, even just maybe thinking about it in a different way, or even just feeling seen. And like, if you struggled with songwriting, like Laura or I have at different parts of our journey here, I hope you see yourself in that, or maybe just another perspective on how to do that. With all that to say, when this is being released, I think there's maybe like 1 day left for the Ren sale. If you want to check that out, that just again, a completely different focus that's technically based to give you the skills to be a Renaissance artist. That's the vibe. So check that out. Love that. But really take a look at Laura's thing. Again, I only like push things that I think are lit as fuck because otherwise it's a waste of my time and I'm not about to try to put things on blast that I don't give a fuck about. So I'm like dead ass, but maybe gonna sign up for this myself. So maybe I'll see you in class. Maybe I'll see you in group. See you in the cohort. But with all this, again, if you love this episode, please feel free to leave us a review. That helps us get this out to more people, get Laura's stuff out to more people, right? Please share this episode with your friends. Maybe you're not a songwriter, but you're like, you know what? I think this would be really great for my Aunt Sue. Send it to Aunt Sue then. Hell yeah. Let's spread the love. And again, if you leave a 5-star written review and you take a message, you can email it to us at singerspath@gmail.com. And we'll actually enter you into a pool to win a free private lesson with me as a little like, thank you.
What? I need to do that for my own podcast too.
Hopefully. I know. Isn't that fun? I love gamifying everything. I was like, if you do this and you but here's the thing, people keep leaving 5-star reviews and then they don't tell me it's them. And then I don't know it's them that they made it. Yeah. And I'm like so grateful for it. But anyway, all right. So if it's you and you've left me a lovely review, please, for the love of God, email me so I know it's you. Anyway, thank you so much, Laura, for joining us today.
Sarah.
Just really appreciate you sharing. Yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate you.
If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts. This helps me get this information out to more artists all over the world. Let's work together to spread the joys of music. Until next time, I'm your host, Sarah Bishop, signing off from the Singer's Path podcast. Thanks for listening.